book called Your Brain on Art. It's actually coming out in March. I have an advanced reader copy, but I'll be linking to it below because it is available for pre-order, and I'll let you know on Instagram when it does come out. So if you haven't yet, go follow me on Instagram. But basically, it's this interesting nonfiction take on what neuroscience is discovering about art and how really as human beings we are built to thrive when things are artistic and aesthetic, how it physically changes us. It releases all these neurochemicals and affects our whole body. It improves our memory, and basically humans were designed to thrive on art. And I just think that's so interesting. Like, so much in society does act like, oh, art or making things pretty, it's just extra, it's not that necessary. It's like the frills, right? You know, like that concept of like no frills. Well, like the frills matter. The frills like completely can make our lives better and our health better and our mental health better too. And I just think that's fascinating. Anyway, Your Brain on Art. I'm about 20-ish% through it so far, but I'm really enjoying it. Which, speaking of art, Skillshare is sponsoring this video, and I really wanted to try this class I saw on there about art journaling, and so I thought we could do that, and I wanted to share my thoughts while we do that on my goals, because I know I had this whole goal setting video and why I've been struggling with them. I had some deep life realizations I need to share with you guys about the nature of change and everything. But before we can get into that, let us actually get ready for the day and get out of bed. Guys, so you might have noticed that I rearranged the studio. I have a tendency to just want to rearrange furniture on a regular basis. Though this rearrangement was mostly inspired by this mirror. But this mirror is actually the same as the mirror doors in my bedroom. In fact, this is just the mirror door out of my sister's bedroom. She's recently been sort of remodeling her bedroom and she hated these mirror doors, so she took it out. And I had actually been looking for a mirror for my studio for a while. And do you know how ridiculously expensive mirrors are? They're so expensive, guys. Anyway, when my sister was like taking these out of her room, I'm like, I mean, it's pretty much a giant mirror. So I have a dream of painting its frame white, just because I think that will go with a lot of the white accents in the room and the fact that the trim is white. However, I'm kind of scared because I'm like, do I use spray paint? Do I use the same paint that is used for the trim in this room? I'm like, what if I mess it up? So that's why it's still gold. In other studio news, I separated my studio lights. The other day, it looked like they were kissing. I was quite scandalized. I was like, both of you lights are too young for this. So I put them on opposite sides of the room. I'm trying to find places to put them that I can just put them and leave them there. That is my ultimate goal, though, other than breaking up their romance. So guys, I made a sandwich that's falling apart. Okay, was not going as planned. Which takes us, ironically, to something else I was really wanting to talk about in this video, like I mentioned earlier, which is, so if you guys saw my video I made a while back, the one where I was like, I'm going to completely change my life and do all these different things. Well, I've already shared in other videos how I was struggling with that. I feel like it did put a lot of pressure on myself, but I don't regret making that video, and I think the reason why is because setting all those goals made me aspire towards them, and as I aspired towards them and failed epically over and over again, I learned so much about myself, and I feel like I grew a lot as a person. And so really that was something I wanted to talk about in this video, which is, I would say, the number one reason I haven't been able to reach or even move towards a lot of my goals. But before we dive into that, I need to eat my sandwich. shredded itself. Okay, now I've ate my sandwich. It's time to talk about the deep realizations of life I've had. So when I made that video about changing my habits, what I did not realize was that in large part my habits were not the problem. What the problem was myself. I was the problem, as the Taylor Swift song would go. Everything in our life, our habits, our routines, how we dress, it comes from deep inside of us. Pretty much what someone can see about our life and what we can easily see about our lives comes from the things buried deep inside us, like our experiences, our emotions, our beliefs about ourselves. And trying to change our habits or something about ourselves is kind of like going around it backwards. What we have to do is change ourselves, and then our habits and those things will be so much easier to change because we do the deep internal personal work. Now, let me give you an example of this for better clarification. I set the goal of going to the gym and exercising. Nothing was physically stopping me from going to the gym. I have a gym membership. I have the outfits. I could go. What was stopping me was the things deep inside me. Beliefs like, you know what? If there's work to be done, I need to prioritize that. Taking care of myself is not a priority. And just other stuff like the fear of the gym, fear of other people at the gym. Like, I don't know, my gym is pretty, I would say, family friendly, but I have been to gyms sometimes that they're all like really buff and like gym people, and I just feel so out of place and like they think I'm wimpy. That's just one example of how it was issues inside of me, such as prioritizing everything over my health, that was stopping me from doing the surface trait of actually going to the gym. Another example would be like my struggle to learn Korean. I have everything I need to practice, to study, but I won't do it. And I realize the reason I won't is because I'm pretty much convinced I sound dumb. I'm the worst Korean speaker in the world. I feel like all Korean people would probably cringe if they heard me attempt to speak Korean, and thereby I avoid it if at all possible. But I want to do it. But it's my deep internal beliefs about my inability to learn a language. I'm just not good at it. I'll never be good at it. Everyone's gonna laugh at me. That holds me back. And really, I know I'm not the only one with this. I feel like all people have this about something in their lives. So really, it was this realization that it's the deep things inside of us that actually need to change if we want to change any of our surface habits, that made me realize that my journey to change my life needs to be focused so much more internally, like on personal development, on changing these beliefs I have about myself, work, money, life, everything. And then the habits will be easier to change, or they'll change even just on their own. And so I know I said in that video that I wanted to share with you guys not just that I changed my life, but how I changed my life. And so here we are. Here is a pit stop on the changing of life. Anyway, I thought it would also be really nice as part of this personal development journey to start journaling more. And I've seen some epic art journals, and so I want to learn art journaling with this class on Skillshare. Of course, Skillshare is sponsoring this video, so let me tell you guys a little about them, and then we can start working on art journaling. So Skillshare is an online learning platform that has thousands of classes across so many different topics, from art and design to cooking to crocheting. There's always something new to learn on Skillshare. And I love how it really caters to both beginners to more advanced users. It doesn't matter where you're at in your creative journey, there's something there for you. Something I really love about Skillshare is that their classes are pretty short and simple, but they leave me with a valuable skill in my artistic journey. For example, I've mentioned before that I took crochet on Skillshare. I've crocheted so many scarves since then. Also, I still love drawing flowers that I learned how to draw in Florals and Procreate with Sandra Mejia. In today's video, I'm really looking to work on the project for the class Draw Your Life, Intro to Illustrated Journaling with Mimi Chow, and I'm super excited for this. And I loved how encouraging she was in this class, pointing out that even if you are a basic beginner when it comes to art, you can still illustrate your life and come out with something very cool and meaningful. And right now, Skillshare has a special offer for you guys. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So definitely go and check it out if you're interested in learning new creative skills.
Hi guys, I'm excited to share one of my favorite creative exercises, illustrated journaling. Illustrated journaling, or illogging as I like to call it, is fantastic because not only do you get all the benefits of regular journaling, from remembering events to chronicling your life to reflecting on issues, but you can really also use it as an opportunity to simultaneously work on skills that you want to improve on.
Okay, so in the class, the teacher teaches us the really great way to do it, using pictures as references. But guys, I'm feeling incredibly low effort today. So what I did is I brought in the inspiration pictures, which she told us to look at a camera roll over the past week and get some inspiration pictures. And I put them as a collage in Procreate, and now I'm just gonna trace over them. I feel like I'm cheating, Mrs. Puff, but I just don't feel the effort to just draw them all freeform. So I'm gonna trace and still try to make something coolly artistic out of it. Also, yes, you guys might have noticed, I lost the end of my Apple Pencil. I've bought replacements for it, and then I lost all of those. Yeah. You want to know something really hard to draw? Palm trees. Palm trees are so hard to draw. Even though I was tracing, it was still hard. An epic battle was fought with them. So now that is done, I feel like it's just time to make some dinner and then finish up this artwork. So I just did the classic thing where I opened the giant pouring spout of the spice instead of, you know, the shaker side. So we're gonna see how oniony the zucchini is gonna turn out now. I just feel so lucky. So it's so past my time to go to bed. However, I needed to show you my finished art. This is it. So for this week journal, I really wanted to focus on things that made me happy, or focus on things that I was like new, trying out, or moving towards goals. And also I have this quote of "We are feeling beings who think," and that just really goes along with what I was talking about earlier, with how it's our feelings about things that really affect how we live our life, versus just thinking a thought like, oh, I want to go to the gym, right? Like, we have to really work on those feelings because we're feeling beings. Anyway, that's also just one of the reasons I really wanted to start this illustrated journal, to help capture these realizations I have on my journey as a human being. That sounds so grandiose. I'm sorry. Anyway, also, I just love this concept of illustrated journaling, because if I really have the time to do this every week, we'll see. Like, I might try, but I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. Like, think about it. Like, you could have an entire book of your year of illustrations to look back on, and that would be so cool. Anyway, I learned about the illustrative journaling in the Skillshare class I mentioned before, and again, they have a special offer for you guys. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description below can get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So definitely go check that out if you are interested in upping your creative game. And as always, keep being awesome, because you're awesome. Bye! 묘한 감정들이 자라기 시작했죠.